Hello, teachers all over the world. Good evening, guys, from Dubai time. And this is the webinar part one, lesson planning, part one, preparation for lesson planning. Really, I have got some questions from many teachers around the world. I think I can make them into a list of two questions. Question one is there are some definitions we have to know. What is progress? What is attainment? What is learning styles? What is group students groups inside the classes, heterogeneous, homogeneous, jigsaw, and so on. So one about the definitions, and another one is about how could I be an effective teacher because I'm new teacher, or how could I be a tremendous and modern instructor inside schools, or how could I be an impressive leader inside the schools. So these are the main two questions, or the main meanings for all the questions I have got last weeks. That's why I start to make this PowerPoint or a webinar to give you clear image about what to do and how to do. Part one is lesson planning webinar, and part one in this webinar for preparation. I mean, before the lesson planning, what to do. My speaking is for all teachers all over the world, all leaders inside the schools. I mean, leaderships, and also for school administration staff too. Let's go to share with you what to do, what to do with you today, and how to do that with you. It will be a practical, so don't worry. I will be simple and clear instructor to you about what to do and steps, techniques, strategies, understanding, knowledge, concepts, and so on. Let's say something now before I start. Is you will never find a clear image for lesson preparation, I mean before lesson planning, except here in Midu Academy channel for teachers. It's not vanity, but it's just experience, knowledge, a lot of scale of experience, I mean, from time to time about possessions, different challenges, problem solving, multi-problem solving techniques and so on I had ever faced before. So let's go to share with you now the PowerPoint, and to understand this webinar for Friday. It will be every Friday and for 1 hour, no more. And part one is preparation for lesson planning, or for lesson planning, I mean before the lesson planning, what to do, what you have to do, prepare, and so on, you and your leader and also your school staff. Let's go to my question is, are you a new teacher, new instructor, or are you a new leader? This is first time to be head of departments or senior leader or lead teacher, or are you a school administrator or manager or principal with low experience in academic? If you are one of that, be with me now. It's time to plan. Lesson plan or plan lessoning or planning for a lesson is a question. Lesson plan, you want to prepare a lesson plan or effective lesson plan? Because preparing a lesson plan is just to make you a traditional teacher, a usual one. Not like smart teachers or effective teachers. But we need effective lesson plan. That's why we are here today, to make effective lesson plan, not just a usual lesson plan. Uh, you have to know that the questions in your mind before you prepare a lesson plan is about only two WH question. What and how. What I want to prepare, how I prepare, what my students want to learn, how I prepare for learning, and so on. So it's only a way of questioning between what and how, knowledge and ways. You have to know that. Number three is about first step. What is it? First step is about determining students groups. I mean, your school, before you enter your class, your school should prepare you and the team of teaching. Before the school starts, you have to prepare yourself about determining the students group, assigning groups of students according to what? According to learning styles, we will explain that later, or according to academic levels of results and so on, or according to behavior. So whatever the style or the shape, you have to make a plan with the school leaders and with the school administration staff to prepare the students groups before you start your school day. Okay, jump start. You have to know, I don't know, I cannot understand, I cannot get that a strong school without planning preparation for everything before the teachers enter the class. So the teachers enter the class with all procedures and planning before with the school leaders and school administration staff. So let's say that what to do before the school starts. Okay, school leaders before the school starts should make meetings, not only one, meetings, it depends. Meetings for what? For data analysis for last years. Data analysis for last years, I mean a meeting with academic assistant, advisor, consultants, and head of departments, science, math, English, Arabic, social studies, and others, plus social workers in the schools. So a meeting for all of that, giving them the data analysis reports about the levels of students and problems or challenges they faced last year. Then a clear image for HOD, I mean head of department, for each section will be clear. So the head of departments will convert all of these knowledge about the analysis, about the reports of students' levels, academic or behavioral, will be converted to teaching staff. A head of department of English will take the results, reports, and everything about analysis to English teaching staff. Head of department of math will convert to all of these analysis reports and recommendations, for example, and academic levels for students to teaching staff of math, and so on. Uh, Also in the meetings they have with the head of departments, they have to put a shape of groups and tasks inside the groups of students. Inside the class, which shape of groups will be the students with? Which style of learning they have to be, or learning styles, maybe not one. Virtual will be online, will be offline. Also about inside the classroom will be visualized or auditory or physical or logic, mental, and so on. Kinesthetic, what style? So they have to make a meeting for after the analysis of reports about the academic levels for last years. Then list of outcomes. Head of departments should have a list of outcomes for each cycle and for each grade inside the school. List of outcomes about this term, about this semester, sorry, about 3 semester, 1, 2, 3, or about the whole year, and so on. So list of outcomes should be listed, yes, and each teacher should have the list of outcomes of their grades. List of objectives of each unit should be specified and in a list, checklist. So each teacher should make a plan, I mean annual plan or term plan, semester plan with objectives, and take the objectives of each unit in a list and with the number of weeks. So and convert it to HOD, head of departments. So everyone now knows inside the teaching staff with leaders knows the learning objectives of this week and this semester and this year's, and also knows the learning outcomes of this week and this semester and this year, and so on. Also, a meeting about professional development sessions about attainment and progress. Main important points, concepts should be clear for all teachers or teaching staff, is about what is attainment, what is progress. And as I told you, it's what and how. How do you achieve it? How do you achieve progress? How do you measure progress? How do you measure attainment, and so on? So professional development should be an agenda, planned, scheduled from the school, before the school start, from the school staffs, I mean SLT, school leadership team, before the school starts. So before all of that, from 1 to 5, we have to prepare all of that. And it's a type 1, means it's a step before entering planning for the lesson. Do you think that? If you think so or different, please write in the comment that you agree with the planning preparation of everything from 1, I mean data analysis reports, to know the students' levels, and number 2 is about the groups shape or style of groups and tasks inside the groups of students, and also about the outcomes, list of outcomes, list of objectives, and the last one is about attainment, professional development sessions, and progress too. If you agree, just please write a comment for that, and it's my honor to get all your comments and reply. Let's go to before planning. So number 1 is about students groups. This is the agenda of today, so please concentrate. Students groups we'll talk about 1.2 inside 1.1. It means names groups of groups and tasks of groups of students, I mean. Names, tasks, outcomes, objectives, and also professional development sessions for attainment and progress. So we have 1, it's about students groups, 1.1, and we have 1.2 about names and tasks, and we have 1.3 outcomes and objectives, and we have 1.4 about professional development sessions for attainment and progress. So that's why this webinar is just to prepare you to start. Next webinar is about how to start real and effective lesson planning. Before next webinar, we have to understand and get all of this information about what from 1.1 to 1.4. Let's start 1.1. Students groups. We have purposeful groups. You have to make your students in groups, but it's not randomly groups. No, you put these groups with a purpose, with a goal, with objective. It's not just randomly. So you have not only you as English teacher or science teacher, no, you, I mean all of you teaching staff of this grade. So science teacher of grade 1, science teacher of grade 2, science teacher of grade 1, English teacher of grade 1, Arabic teacher of grade 1, math teacher of grade 1, PE teacher of grade 1, art teacher of grade 1, music teacher of grade 1, Islamic teacher for grade 1, as a social studies teacher for grade 1, whatever the subjects is, you have all as a team to prepare yourself before the school starts what shape you want to put your students in the groups. Okay, flexible small groups, if you like homogeneous groups or heterogeneous groups, or student selected groups, not used. You will let students to select themselves, or it's a topic interest groups. So for example, English is preferring to be in this style, so science will change in another style, or math in another style. I don't like this way of different groups because it will make students in a mess. inside the classroom. So I like to be in agreement, one agreement for the style, for the whole team, for the whole teaching staff of this grade. Okay, why we have to concentrate about grouping students? Why? Because the benefits is about two sections. One is excellence. If you put, for example, students in homogeneous classes, you will put the excellent students together, and it's equal education, not equity. It will be equality, not equity. So second one is equity for heterogeneous, because you give the weak students, for example, weak level students, the performance and a chance to be with the higher achievers, with the average achievers in one group to help each other. So they have the chance now to understand from teachers and from peers. So heterogeneous mix group will give chances for all students to be in equity style, not equality style. That's why we have to put groups, whatever the shape you want. Later, we will talk about the benefits. Next webinars, we will talk about the grouping effectiveness. Okay, search. A lot of reports, international reports in magazines, educational reports and researches talking about the effect size of each style in grouping. For example, if you don't have label groups, label students without saying average students, without saying higher achiever and lower achiever. So if you didn't mention that inside the classes, your effect it will be about 61%. It means a higher effect for students, or impact on students' levels, without label students with higher, lower, average achievers. If you just put them in small group learning, it's the effectiveness is 49, because the chances of variety of knowledge and the skills will be few and limited. So it will be small group learning. It's 49% as statistics. Okay, number 3 is about grouping gifted students. You put gifted students together, so 30% of effect you will get. If you just put ability grouping, about determination grouping, or students of disabilities with one group, it will be 12% of effectiveness for understanding you and getting the skills. So please concentrate of not labeling your students under higher and under lower achiever or average achiever. That's wrong. Let's go to names. We have got, according to my experience and visits for many classes of my staffs in my schools, the schools I worked for till now, I got some problems, some challenge of naming students. So some teachers may be naming students of labeling students, labeling students' names with groups, and the students didn't get the higher impact, because they said, for example, the strongest, the weakest, or the weakest students. So that's wrong, as I told you. So it will be bad. What else now is I give you here a list of names, can help you more about the students' names. So I have here 19 names you can use, but I like the left index or column. Masterminds, wonder minds. So now with the same masterminds, wandering minds, perfect minds, if you have 3 groups. Riders of the storms, little moons, nip and tax, rhythm and weep, birds of a feather, alpha, omega, beta, Latin scale. For chemistry, you can get it, and without saying alpha is and omega is, or what is beta. Also, we have a famous and well-known for most teachers: owls, parrots, eagles, falcons, hawks, giraffes, and so on. And I don't like that. Anyway, it's a point of view. It's not a rule, but I like the left, and because it's new and giving your students more academic meaning. Let's go to shaping the groups. In front of you now, I have four students in each group with the style you can see yet, different styles in the same class. If you put that shape, means you have a goal. Nothing randomly, please don't put nothing randomly. Don't put anything randomly. You have to group your students into purpose style. So, for example, this is one of the shapes you can use, or this one also for students in each group, and one in the middle. You can mention that in the middle, that the group of distributing everything about knowledge, worksheets, activities, questions and answers, delivering and receiving, and so on. Or this style, I mean a style of one group as a leader with a laptop, others without a laptop. This group is for searching the meaning, the topics on the websites and so on. And the others can listen or get debate or discussion with, and so on. Or now, but if I have a group of 4 students, so what are the titles, labels I have to do? Among a lot of names, this is my perfect style, and I will tell you why. In each group, you have a leader. In each group, you have a reporter, a writer, and illustrator. And I like the fourth one, a leader to lead the group, or reporter to speak up instead of the group, writer to write of a good handwriting or a good typing, a fast typing, and so on. Illustrator to draw, to decorate, to paint the session of the task, whatever. Or some teachers, and one of them is Mr.Medhat. I like the style of 6 students in one group because I have now a leader, a reporter, a writer, an illustrator, plus a translator and an inspector. How? We'll see what to do. An inspector is someone who evaluates students' work. Translator is someone like a dictionary, an insertion, and a net, and so on, and give the students the evidence, like a librarian, and so on. You can call it library style of 6, because the more number of the group is, the more knowledge they have got. Group tasks, not one to be, is about the tasks of each group. So we have a leader. You were talking now, sir, about 6 leaders or 6 members in one group inside the students groups. So what are their tasks? Task of a leader to arrange and distribute activities in the task, and this leader may be in a bad behavior, so you put them as a leader to improve the behavior, or just he's excellent, and we'll see now the description of each one, the job description of each leader. So you will see that later. Now, number 2 is reporter. So to speak up, reporter to speak up and inform answers to the teachers. So speak up means some abilities of speaking and so on. Writer to write the answers down in the notebooks or on the worksheets. Also about the handwriting is good or the typing is fast. Illustrator to draw and paint the specific task and decorate it to be on the classboard. About the learning environment, all illustrators will do that about inside the classes. So you will see a perfect style of decoration to be put on the board or the wall of the class. Translator or librarian, if you want to say that, to facilitate meanings and knowledge for the whole group. An inspector, someone to evaluate the group work and give them feedbacks about all of that. And also negotiate with teachers what to do next and so on. Let's go to job description of each one. Okay, job description for each one, or qualities of each one. Leader, strong personality. He has or she has a strong personality, should be. Positive, good speaker, or talented. Even attendance rules, he can put attendance rules after discussion with the group. So attendance rules is 1, 2, 3, of the class or even the rules of the same group. Reporter is someone is fluent, good speaker, open-minded, high skills of thinking, motivated and positive too. Writer should be fluent, writing skills, using idioms, not like others, and handwriting is very good about handwriting skills or typing skills. Illustrator, someone who draws or and paints and has drawing and painting skills. His or she's thoughtful and positive too. Translator or librarian, someone with well knowledge to searching skills also about the internet, how to do and faster to do, and has multi vocabulary or a big dictionary in his mind. And inspector is someone positive evaluation skills, and he's a good speaker too, and disciplined or systematic, always is organized, and a strong personality to give feedback and negotiate with the teachers about anything about the feedback. Till now, we have done the first section or the first part about the students groups, names and benefits of that, and tasks of each one, and shapes of groups too. This one in front of you is just a circle or to understand the whole process of teaching. It's about teaching and learning. It's about the teacher in the middle. The teacher put activities, and activities will be discussed using questions. Questions will be answered, and after answers, you have to take answers to change another activity, and so on. So it's a circle, always in the work. That's why we call action teacher. Action teacher is a teacher of not knowledge, just knowledge. No, action teacher is that one who is able to make the class in action always. Hi, teacher. So let's go to what's the difference, point number 2. What the difference between a learning objective and learning outcome. One of the questions I got is about the definitions. I told you what is objective, what is outcome, are they alike, together, and so on. No, a big difference between learning objective and learning outcome, and they the next will show you what to do and what are they. Learning objectives and learning outcomes. I will start with outcomes because it's bigger and it includes objectives inside. So the biggest one is outcomes, and what's inside outcomes are objectives, maybe one objective or more than one. So you can say outcome, one outcome means one objective inside or more than one objectives to make one outcome. That's one. Number 2 is what is outcome as a definition, as a concept, how the student could demonstrate their learning, how it's about the way, how the students demonstrate their learning. What about the objectives? What the student will learn. So objective is talking about what, and outcomes it's token always talk about the how, the way, the method. What a student will learn during the lesson is objective, and how a student could demonstrate the learning in the activities and so on, it outcomes or real life skills. Objective example in economics, a student will understand the nature and functioning of the market system. So we'll understand that this is now objective during the class, during the lesson. But what is the outcome now for economics? The students will be able to identify the role of supply and demand in a market economy and necessary conditions of to function well. So in the outcomes, we said here able to, because I changed the objective to be a skill. So you can say outcomes means the skills or start to be a skill, so able to. And objective is will understand, will get, and so on. It's objective during the lesson itself. This is just now 2 examples about the differentiation between outcomes and objective. Again and again, one outcome may involve more than one objectives. Now we have to go to Bloom's taxonomy for learning. If you want to make outcomes, if you want to make objectives, you have to be in a reference of Bloom's taxonomy, Bloom's triangle. A cognitive style or affective style or psychomotor style. So whatever, you have to follow a style of Bloom's, so from lower to higher when you put your outcomes. For example, you want to start your outcomes in the first of the year with a lower outcomes. I mean, outcomes of remembering, of understanding, of applying, of observing, of modeling, of responding, of receiving, for example. And in the middle of the year, I have to make outcomes in a higher or in the middle of analyzing, evaluating. I have to concentrate about recognizing standards or applying. I have to concentrate on organizing and valuing. And at the end of the year, I have to put my outcomes in the level of a higher level, for example, in creating level or coaching level or characterizing levels. So that's why you have to differentiate, divide your outcomes, even your objectives from between the first of the year and the middle of the year, academic year, and the last of the academic year too. So you have to go back before shaping your outcomes, before demonstrating your outcomes. You have to go back as a reference using Bloom's domains of learning. Bloom's domains of learning in front of you now, from the lower order to the higher order, from the first of the year to the end of the year. Okay, we have got now what is outcomes. Can we have examples about outcomes? Yes, learning outcomes as by the end of this year, by the end of this semester, by the end of this unit, you should be able to explain the role of learning outcomes online or face-to-face or blended course design. You have to be able to, or you should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy, for example, here, or evaluate. So what you can see here is about verbs after able to. It's not understand, it's not something of remembering, it's about explain. So it's a skill, outcome, something a productive. So explain, apply, evaluate, identify, but not just remember and understanding, but you have to give me skills in outcomes. That's right. So outcomes in general, you have to know, teachers, school leaders, and also administration staff, that it's not only just lesson outcomes by teachers that they will do. No, we have a scale or a cycle of, we have a degree level outcomes. We have grade 12 in our school, high school, and I prepare the students in high school to be graduated after some years, a couple of years, maybe 3 years or 1 year for grade 12. So what will happen is the learning outcomes of these cycle should be differentiated, not like just a lower grades or a middle school grades. No. So that's one. So I have to understand also about the national standards and international standards and outdoors of the schools. What about the universities in the same place my school in, or out of my countries, or out all over the world? What about the standards, international standards? Even my outcomes should be accepted by these standards, international and national standards too. A program of outcomes inside the school, you have to put a program for outcomes. It's about evaluation for this program every semester. What? It's a plan, action plan to make outcomes. About the course outcomes for math course, English course, Arabic course, science course, and so on. You have to follow the course outcomes itself. So next is about the lesson outcomes. So if you want to start, it's not just to start by lesson outcomes. You have to know the degrees outcomes. You have to know the program inside your schools about the outcomes. You have to know the course outcomes of each subject. Then you can make a lesson outcomes. Let's go to the 5 ways outcomes can help you, your course. Your outcomes, if you want to put it as a lesson outcomes, you have to clarify your expectations for students. It's not, I want my students to understand, to use present continuous in sentences. For example, this is one of the objectives. So all outcomes. So using present continuous, okay, in affirmative, in negative, in questioning, in speaking, in conversations, or what? In writing, in IELTS, in multiple choices, in tests, or what? So your expectations for students, it's about the higher level, an average and lower achievers. What about the expectations? So clarify them. Even evaluate, re-evaluate always your teaching strategies. It's for higher achievers, different from lower achievers. I have many strategies, so differentiated at what we call differentiation, worksheets, activities, and so on. Reassess your assessment too. It's about assessment. What about this assessment and the lower achiever, for example, in this assessment couldn't reach the level or the goals or the objective I put. So I have to reassess again my assessment. Maybe I put one assessment with differentiation. No, I will put 3 different assessment, A, B, C, and I differentiate them. It's better or not. So reassess. Provide clear and consistent feedback after each assessment. Upping your grading to students' suggestions. Ask your students about the chance, give your students a chance to share you with about the grading. So it's better make a consultant team in the class to give you the feedback about grading. No, your grading, this scale of grading in this month was not good for us, sir. So can we make a meeting, short meeting about how to change the grading system again with you? Yes. It's just about feedback with ABC. It's about marks. It's about points, whatever. So open your grading to students' suggestions. This is how to make effective outcomes and help you in your course. Okay. Next, objectives. So we were talking now about outcomes. What about objectives? What is objective? We know the differences now about the objectives and outcomes. So a specific is objective, a general is outcome. Learning objectives means you will be able to. You will be able to. Let's go to learning objective. For example, students will be taught. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to. Students will be taught. Students will know, and so on. I have a great toolbox for you, can help you to understand and write effective learning objectives. One on the right is about Dr. Edmund Bellon, the ABCDs of writing learning objectives, a basic guide. Please read this book. Effectively understanding, you'll find, and strategies how to do. Even designing, teaching, learning goals and objectives. Robert G. Marzano, one of the best books for me. So I have read both, and I was keen on when I was reading them. That's great. So let's go to objectives. What I got from the 2 books is about just SMART objective. How could you start to write a SMART objective? I mean SMART objective with a specific objective, measurable objective, achievable objective, realistic objective. It's not something from the moon. Timely, I mean with a timer. So this is in short, what is a SMART objective being? I mean in details. SMART objective means specific. The details of your objective. If I got your objective now as an inspector and I enter your class, when I see the objective on the board, can I say this is a SMART objective or not? How I know that? Look at your objective that you wrote on the board. Is it a specific or general? Students will be able to understand grammar. What grammar? You're talking general now, grammar. Inside one lesson, you're talking about to understand grammar? No, you can say one specific topic in the grammar. Measurable, is it measurable? Are you able to measure your objective at the end? I mean, measurable means you can say at the end of the class that third of the class, half of the class, 2/3 of the class, 75% of the class understood the objective. If that happened, that means it's measurable. And how can you do that? It's by assessment, by what activities, and so on. So should be measurable objective. Actionable. This objective will take you to another objective for next lesson. Easily, smoothly. Is it actionable? Is it giving you the students, sorry, the class the students' writing skills, the students' listening skills, the students' speaking skills, the students' thinking skills, actionable or not? Relevant, is it related to the real life topic out of the classes about the life skills, 21st century skills or not? Time bound, is it using time or not? You can achieve it in a time, or it's bigger than time you allocate it to. So you have to do a smart objective in details. Now I explain to you, hope you got it. If you have a question, please, or a comment, write it now down. Example, as an inspector, when I enter your class, as a head of department, when I enter your class teacher and you teacher, please concentrate. I will divide your objective into these sections to know, is it a smart or not? When you say, for example, by the end of this lesson, so by when? You said by the end of this lesson, so by when, huh? It's not just the students will be. What, when students will be? By the end of this lesson, or by the half of this lesson, after 10 minutes of this lesson, at the end of this lesson, you have to say when. Learners, your subject is learners, students, or lower achiever, or your objective is only just for high achievers, so lowers, or all the class learners or students will be able to, for example, cook or understand or use and so on, the action, observable action, verb. A well done stick, for example, on the stove, this is what we call degree of precision. On the stove, when I say conditions, using a non-stick pan, for example, what or tools, resources you use, or using whiteboard, using textbooks, using activities, using worksheets. In for 6 minutes, it's about time. So this is not a complete and effective and a perfect and tremendous lesson objective. Or by the end of this lesson, students will be able to identify the main features of the Pinterest. For example, this is a Pinterest platform and or a website or app in their account, and explain their functions using the Pinterest features worksheet. Resources should be involved in the SMART objective. Now I explain everything. So this is now just examples about what to do. I will let you just to read for 1 minute. Take your time. Now let's go to another one for 1 minute. It's just example, the same I explained before about what to do, resources, conditions, standards, and so on. Thank you. Now, what is attainment and progress? Multi questions I got. So attainment and progress in general, in short, attainment, this is the score, grade, a mark or level, but achieved from a particular task or activity. Example, attainment of a test is 17 out of 25. 17 out of 25 is not a progress, it's attainment. Why? Because I specify this one in a specific time or a point, 1 point. It's about a test or a grade or a mark or a level. But about progress, it's not only on one time, it will be from time to another time, make a comparison between both, it's a progress now. So the progress means differences that measure between attainment score over a period of time. Example, change in reading age from 6.7 to 7.2. I have 2 points now, I can make say a progress. 6.7 is lower than 7.2, that means I achieved a progress here, so it's a progress. Assessment can give you the shape of attainment and progress too. So you can use assessment to do attainment or a progress. Let's go through again what is achievement, what is a progress. I will give you 1 minute to read. There is now a question by you, I'm sure. You said attainment and progress. Attainment and progress, but what we have here is achievement and progress. Yes, attainment is achievement. You have to know that achievement means attainment, not progress. Progress means growth. So we have another definitions for both. Achievement or attainment, both are equal. Progress or growth, both are equal. You have to understand that. growth and achievement now. So you can say growth and achievement, progress and attainment, whatever. The differences between both again is about the different point of time. In two different points of time, between both is a progress or a growth. Only in a point of time is only achievement or attainment. So again, attainment, a result at a specific point in time. Example, scoring 9 out of 10 in a mental math test is attainment. What is the concept attainment model? Okay, how can I shape it? What are examples? Okay, tools or resources can help you to do attainment is assessment for learning. Assessment for learning. Assessment for learning during the classes, activities during the classes, whatever is it. Help students know how to improve, recognizes all educational achievement, central to classroom practice, key professional skills, sensitive and constructive, fosters motivation, maybe a motivated coach. It's one type of assessment for learning and it gives the students attainment. Promotes understanding, ask a question, debate is given students attainment. Develops capacity for self and peer assessment. It's attainment. Part of effective planning is attainment, and so on. Examples now, models. Example, if you write a text message explaining your learning, is it a progress or attainment? Attainment, achievement. If the students, for example, you create a link chain to match keywords and definitions, it's what? It's attainment, yes, that's right, or achievement. If you draw, or the students draw, for example, what you have learned today is what? Attainment or achievement, and so on. In front of you, a great schedule and ways, methods, strategies, techniques, what to do. Write 5 questions for somebody to answer. Attainment. Stars and a wish, 3, for example, things you understand, 1 thing you need to improve, attainment. Use the jigsaw connections to link and summarize your learning, attainment. Pick 5 keywords, for example, from the lesson and write a question for them, attainment, and so on. I give you now 1 minute to just concentrate and write on your notebook. Please write down some of these strategies and techniques. Let's go to progress or growth. We agree for this point. Progress is a growth, not achievement. How a child's attainment scores change over time. So progress needs time. Scoring 6 out of 10 1 week and 8 out of 10 next week. So I have now a progress or not from 6 to 8. Yes, it's a progress or a growth. Progress. Assessment of learning can help you to make progress. So assessment for learning can help you to make attainment. Assessment of learning can help you to make a progress. Projects is a progress tool. E-folio, electronic folios, portfolios by students is a progress tool. Tests is a progress tools. Essays, one of the main ways of assessment tools. I mean for progress tools. Assessment of essays, quizzes, tests, but from time to time, projects from time to time, e-folios, progression of in e-folios till the end of the year is a sign of progress and growth. Main important point, essential, a VIP point you have to understand. Teachers, please, leaders, please, how do we know students making progress? Okay, look at the mark in October and the mark in December, for example. Make between both, the differentiation between both, subtraction between mark in October of this class, for example, of this test, whatever, and the mark in December. Subtraction is, for example, +3. Okay, it means in October they got 45%, but in December they got about percentage, for example, 42%. So now the difference is they were in 45, in October. Adam was 45% in October, but was 42% in December. It means he now decreases his percentage to 3, so -3. Look at Eve in the same period of time. She got, for example, +30. So I have here a progress down for Adam, higher for Eve, down for Charles and Diana, and also Freddie. So this is the way. Just make a subtraction between the mark in October, for example, and the mark in December, the first of the semester, the last of the semester, and the percentage of each one. Make also a subtraction between the percentage. You will find, is it a positive or a negative? It means a positive progress or a negative progress. You can see that. If you want to make a perfect progress at the end, try to change the marks into grading, format grading. From structure to grading, format grading structure. Example, from 9 means A plus or A star. 8, 7 means A. 6, 5, 3 or 4. 6 is B, 5, 4 is C, and so on. So change into A, B, C, D, and so on. It's better to know at the end the levels or the progress of the whole school students. Again, to just overview, to brief, to sum up, assessment for learning and assessment as learning, always the first one on the left and the second one will help you to make, yes, attainment or achievement. The last one, assessment of learning, will help you to make progress and growth. That's right. Thank you. I will give you a minute to read the benefits of each one, the differences between each one. Let's go. Examples of assessment in short, in general, for most teachers. They know only 2, but they are 3. But okay, if you know 2, it's okay. Formative and summative through the classes. Summative at the end means, okay, and now examples about each one. Rubrics can be both. Class discussions will be formative, yes, because it helps you to make attainment for progress for students, sorry, attainment for students or achievement. Questioning, checklists, journal, progress notes, and so on. Reading, self-evaluation, observation, conferences, interviews, peer self-evaluation. All of that will help you to make attainment or achievement for students, so it's formative. And summative, rubrics, written tests, something they wrote and you grade it. Creative assignments, presentations, portfolios, written reports, projects, products, practical examinations, peer self, like virtual or lab and so on, science lab and so on. Peer self-evaluation also can make progress or growth for students, or what we call summative assessment. I will give you some seconds just to read again or write inside the notebook. Please concentrate about this webinar. Is different. It's different. It's different. It's not vanity. It's not arrogant one talking to you. No, it's about experience. Hope you understand now everything about this webinar today. Please concentrate about the content of this webinar. Write it down inside your notebooks. If you have a question, write it me now. Write it down in the comments. And if you have a question later, just send it to me in. I will always check my videos comments and I reply for all. Thank you for today's webinar, Cooperation, Listening and Understanding. I hope you like my webinar. Teachers all over the world, please, if you like my content, I need your support. Like, share, and subscribe, please. Thank you a lot. See you next time for a great webinar. Next time is Friday, and it's about starting to write a lesson plan, contents of lesson plan, to be effective lesson plan, and to be effective teacher. Thank you a lot for today. Hope to see you next time, healthy and safe.